It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for The Last of Us on HBO. On this video, we're going to be taking a look at some brand new behind the scenes photos for filming that's most likely related to the Lakeside Resort chapter of the video game. It appears that David is finally here, and it appears that we're gonna get some official casting news for the character of David fairly soon here. Stay tuned, we'll be right back to break this down. As always, before we jump into this, smash that like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. With that said, let's dive right in. What's extremely interesting is that a few months ago, it appeared that they were done with filming. A lot of the directors that are involved posted their last day on set, and it definitely got a lot of fans thinking that they're done filming. But it appears that not only they're not done filming, but it seems like they have a pretty important chapter left that they're going to fit into season 1. Before we get to that though, I do want to talk about one other thing. Pedro Pascal, who of course plays Joel, or will play Joel, was in Calgary recently, so it seems like he's gonna be doing some filming as well. For those of you that don't know, they're filming for The Last of Us on HBO in Alberta, Canada, partially in Calgary, which is the city that I live in, and I've been able to actually capture a lot of behind the scenes footage and photos for you guys. That's all on the channel, you can go and check it out. Since Pedro Pascal is in Calgary, there's a chance that he is also going to be filming some stuff as well, which is interesting, and I'll explain why. But before we get into Pedro Pascal, let's talk about the Lakeside Resort. Fans of the video game will most likely remember that the Lakeside Resort chapter of the video game was connected to a pretty major story. It all started with Joel getting injured, falling off of the railing and onto a rebar, which effectively took him out of the story for a little bit. And then at that time, we, as the audience, dived more into the Ellie character, and we played as Ellie, and we got her backstory a little bit and things like that. She was searching for supplies and medicine to help Joel, and as she was doing that, she ran into David and group at the Lakeside Resort, and there was a big story surrounding the whole David situation, which was one of the highlights of part 1. David is actually one of the most interesting characters from the first video game. Not the only one, obviously, but one of the most interesting and important characters. So the 4 photos that I have on top is buildings that they had decorated for filming, and obviously if we kind of think about the Lakeside Resort chapter, a lot of these images are reminiscent of the setting of the Lakeside Resort, which is why we're saying these are most likely Lakeside Resort chapter filming locations. Now, if you take a look at the first one, it says water sport utilities, and there's even a canoe there. So that's one hint that it has something to do with the lake and hence Lakeside Resort. Now, like I said earlier, a few months ago, they did film a bit in similar areas as well, but not in the exact same town. Like, these are pictures from Waterton, which is a new town that they were filming in, but a few months ago they were in the towns of Canmore and Okotoks, and everything that they had set up to film there made it look like they're filming both the Jackson stuff from the video game and also the Lakeside Resort. So there is a chance that they may have filmed a little bit with the Lakeside Resort, but not quite as much. We obviously didn't have any casting for David at that point, so even if they were doing filming for the Lakeside Resort chapter, David wasn't a part of it yet. Like, he wasn't in the scenes. One quick thing I want to mention in brackets is, you may be wondering why I'm saying Jackson scenes, because Jackson was in the second game. Well, it seems like they're gonna remix the story a little bit and bring Jackson in a little sooner. If you want to know more about that, there's tons of videos that I have on the channel talking about that, and even looking at the behind the scenes photos and footage that's pointing towards filming scenes related to Jackson. But let's get back to David. So like I said, this time around they're filming in Waterton, and it seems like they're doing more scenes for the Lakeside Resort, but we still don't have a casting for David, which means that it's extremely likely that they are going to give an official casting fairly soon. And if they don't release anything, then when the actor that's going to be playing David goes to set, we'll know. But with that said, I do want to quickly also talk about Joel a little bit. Like I said earlier, at this point in the story, Joel is injured and we don't see Joel a lot. We see him a little bit, but not a lot. The fact that Pedro Pascal was recently seen is not surprising because they could be filming some small scenes with Joel and Ellie, because there was definitely a little bit of that even when Joel was injured. But with that, let's dive into the second topic. This filming location is actually in Calgary itself. There's a bunch of post-apocalyptic vehicles parked around the city, and also there's decorations on what used to be a thrift shop. It's now turned into the high-low bar. Now, we don't exactly know which set this is for, like whether this is connected to the Lakeside Resort stuff. The scenery is definitely different, so it wouldn't make a lot of sense for them to be filming the Lakeside Resort stuff here, but maybe they're doing indoor filming for the most part. And this bar that we see may be the exact same bar that David and Ellie were chasing each other around in the video game, or the adaptation of that scene from the video game. But these are pretty cool behind the scenes photos, not much to talk about. And then there's two other ones. So we have a vehicle that's also been decorated. There's vines all around the car, and there's debris all around the car as well. And there's obviously a camera there and a white screen, which I'm assuming is going to be used in post-production to put something in the background. Again, with this one, I don't know whether this is going to be connected to the Lakeside Resort stuff or not. It's unlikely because the scenery is so different, but maybe they're also filming other stuff that they had left for other parts of the story. But that's pretty much it. That's everything that I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.